Welcome. Today is your fifth session in this Apprenticing Jesus small group study, The Journey to Transformation. Today, we're going to look at the chapter that you just read, which is chapter 4, The Heart of Apprenticeship, and then we'll preview chapter 5. I'd like to start today, though, with just checking in and asking you, how's it going with the vision that you declared for this study? The new ground in your life that you're committed to take, and how you're using these disciplines and practices towards those breakthroughs in the areas where you want to break through. How's it going? Where are your intentions working, and where are you stuck? It's normal for life to be a mixed bag. It's rare that it all shows up the way that we prefer, that we show up the way we prefer all the time. But one of the beautiful things about being in this small group environment is you have an opportunity to share, to open up about your life and your challenges. Authenticity is such a powerful fuel in getting unstuck. I think it's a spiritual discipline. So please take advantage of the opportunity that you have to connect and share with those in your group about the things that really matter to you in your life and how it's going. Support each other, champion each other, encourage each other. Now, when it comes to the heart of Apprenticing Jesus, our topic for today, a few things come to mind. One is that it requires discipline. It's not the path of least resistance. But I do think it's the path that delivers the most value for effort expended. It's the best path possible. And it enables you to be able to transform the inevitable pain and suffering of life. We all experience pain and suffering, whether we're an apprentice of Jesus or not. But if you take this path, you can take that pain and suffering and you can transform it into joy. And that which you don't transform, that you hold on to because you're not on this path, you will certainly transmit to others. The heart of apprenticeship is love. Loving God, loving your neighbor, loving your enemies, and everyone in between. We're talking about agape love, which is God's unconditional love. And that's a tall order. But we can mature in this pursuit as we deepen our intimacy and connection with God and awaken to the reality of our impact on others. The spiritual disciplines of silence, solitude, practicing stillness, prayer, and contemplative prayer are essential for us to deepen our intimacy and connection with God. So just ask yourself, how are you doing with these practices? Are you having fun with it? It really doesn't matter whether you're doing it well. If you're practicing them, I promise you it will work. And I ask you just to release the normal Western culture mindset of achievement and performance when it comes to all that we're considering and doing in this study. This isn't about being the big achiever. Practice patience and releasing judgments of yourself and others, like judging yourself because you don't think you're doing it well. Embrace God's unconditional love, mercy, and grace for you. He's got it figured out. So just adopt His mindset towards you. In other words, stop beating yourself up, which is feeding yourself lies, and instead accept God's truth of you, that you're His beloved, just the way you are with all your imperfections. That's established. We know that in our minds, but it's to get it into our hearts. Now, you get to practice connecting to and basking in love and then showering it on others. That's what we're doing. We're practicing it. This life is a practice that Jesus called us to. I know that it's easier said than done, but it's what we have been called to, and it's truly a divine struggle, but it's divine. But in that pursuit is where we meet God and discover who He's made us to be for the world. Whether we miss the mark, whether we splat, whether we do it great, and all of those we can connect to God deeply. You are God's gift to the world, and the heart of the matter is you embracing God's love for you and extending His love to others. And when in relationship with such a merciful God, you get to engage and learn the power of request, to be in conversation with God about what's going on for you and how you can connect with Him, being willing to stay in conversation with Him, negotiating, knowing that His ways are not your ways. His answers won't be what you expect, but to stay in the conversation like you would in any other intimate relationship. God wants all that you have, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the whole game, so bring it. Bring it in your conversations with Him. And God, He's not our personal butler. This is not a name it and claim it message. This is about listening more than it is about talking. Learning to listen to God as He communicates to you with words and without words. One of my favorite quotes regarding this is in this chapter, and it's Mother Teresa. And once she was asked, when you pray, what do you say to God? And she said, I don't talk, I listen. And then the interviewer asked, well, what does God say to you? And Mother Teresa replied, He doesn't talk, He listens. And if you don't understand that, I can't explain it to you. There's another time she was asked about prayer, and she said, prayer is not asking. Prayer is putting oneself in the hands of God at His disposition and listening to His voice in the depth of our hearts. Mother Teresa's answers reveal the importance of contemplation in a vibrant prayer life. And it doesn't really contradict at all what Jesus talks to us about in terms of making requests and negotiation. It's a different way to be in that. Contemplation allows us the opportunity to get beyond our preset expectations and to imagine what's beyond them as we sit in silence and remain open to God's presence and promptings. Now, this coming week, you're going to be reading chapter 5, which is the spiritual practice of authenticity. My definition for authenticity is being true to what's so for you for the purpose of creating value and connection with another. It's about getting real in committed relationship for the purpose of connection. And when we embrace this spiritual practice, God visits it in a big way. It requires us to trust Him because it feels vulnerable. So enjoy this chapter and also enjoy your daily practices. Keep trying them on. I cannot emphasize enough how critical practicing them is to this process that we're in. Remember, when it comes to the daily disciplines, 2 minutes in practicing stillness and contemplative prayer is a win, 12 minutes is a home run, and 20 minutes is transformational. So if you forget or it gets squeezed out of your day, don't worry about it. Don't beat yourself up. Just pick it back up when you remember it. Be grateful that you remembered it and enjoy it. Blessings to you.